Hi everyone, this is Jedd, just giving you the latest update on Burrow 7. So in recent weeks we're progressing very nicely with him. We're up in his training. The weather hasn't helped, it has held us up with having snow and ice. Sometimes it's prevented us from doing as much work as we would choose. We have managed to keep him training every day throughout the festive period. He's managed to canter every day, but there are some days where we would have chosen to have done some faster, more intensive work, but the condition of the gallops has stopped us from doing that safely. So it's probably put us back 10 days or so, but that's not the end of the world for a young horse at his stage of his career. He's developing very nicely. We have managed to do 2 pieces of work recently, and we've already seen quite a dramatic improvement in his competitiveness. So we have to teach horses to be competitive, not too competitive, because they won't finish races well if they're too enthusiastic. But we need to sometimes just teach them to want to compete and race against other horses. And it seems that Burrow 7 has learnt this very, very quickly, which is a great sign and makes us excited about his future. So over the next few weeks, we continue to push on the amount and intensity of the work that he does, and the fast work, and the work that he does, what we call upsides in gallops with other horses. We want to start doing more work on the grass with possibly more than one other horse, so 2 or 3 or 4 other horses in a group, so replicating a little race really. However, of course, we've got to wait for the grass to be in good condition before we can do that. It has to be safe for him. We're not prepared to risk a young horse with a bright future. We want to minimise any risk of injury. So that's what's coming up over the next few weeks for him. He is coping extremely well with the work we're giving him. He loves it. Even this morning, during one of his routine canters, halfway, he gave a buck and a squeal and a little wiggle. And that is just a sign of sheer exuberance and how much he's enjoying his work. And it's something that we love to see. He's eating really well, so although we've stepped up his work, it hasn't put him off his food like it does with some horses. So these are all very, very good signs and encourages us to keep pressing on with him. It's still a bit early to say when he might have his first race. It could be as early as February, it might be March. He will tell us when he's ready to race. If we try and mould him and set a time scale for when he must race, it's likely to go wrong. We have to be very patient as trainers and horse people and let the animal tell us when they're ready to go. So it could be as soon as the end of February, but it could be March. What we generally do with his type of horses is run them once or twice, because he's still very, very young. He's only 4. That is very young for his type of horse. And then we would often turn them out in the field in May, June, and get the very best of the grass. And that allows them to grow and develop and strengthen, ready for some more serious work next season. He probably will be going over hurdles next season, starting in end of September, October, and then progressing through from hurdling, novice hurdling, to possibly handicap hurdling, and then novice chasing and handicap chasing. And if we're lucky, and hopefully even better than that, it would be lovely to think that he might end up in some sort of graded races at some point, taking on the best in the country or even the best in the world. That's obviously ambitious, but you know, we have to be ambitious, we have to dream, and we have to prepare him like he's going to be a very, very good racehorse. So he probably won't, through the course of 2021, have lots of races, but of course this is all about building him up and teaching him to be a good racehorse and not jeopardising his career. He will start off in a national hunt flat race, almost certainly. So that's a flat race on a jumping race course against other jumping bred horses. Flat racing is highly unlikely to be his thing. He's not bred for it. He's bred to be a proper, thorough jumper. He is likely, all being well, to race, hopefully, up until he might be even 12 years old, sometimes beyond. There's a series of races now for what we call veteran chasers, which are sometimes quite valuable. But obviously, you know, we think that he's likely to peak at probably about 8 or 9 years old, maybe 7. So this is why we bring him along gently at this stage of his career. He is still very much in the infancy of being a proper jumping racehorse. So we're very, very happy. We absolutely adore him. He's a pleasure to train, and things are going exactly according to plan. We would just like an improvement in the weather. That would help us. We're currently getting some very, very heavy rain. That's going to stop us from getting on the grass this week. But we will be able to train and do some faster work on our all-weather surfaces. Anyway, hope this gives you an update into how we're getting on, and hope everyone is keeping safe and well.